Old age was supposed to be peaceful. That's why Michael worked for almost 50 years, saving money for retirement. He didn't waste it on foolish things, didn't buy expensive cars or yachts, didn't spend it on unnecessary luxuries. His goal was simple: to live without worries in his own home, without fear for tomorrow. But who would have thought that in a moment, all this would disappear? Just a year ago, Michael was an ordinary retiree in Florida, enjoying his quiet life. He would wake up in the morning, make coffee, sit on the terrace and watch the news. Then he would go for a walk and stop by the local coffee shop, where he always got his favorite Americano. His home was small but cozy, just what a man who can finally afford to relax needs. 10 years ago, he sold the old family home to buy this place with lower maintenance costs, closer to the sea, and with nice neighbors. His pension payments allowed him to live without worries. He thought his life was planned correctly. Michael had always been careful with his finances. When he was young, he saw his father squander all his savings by investing in a dubious business, and then regretted it all his life. And so Michael did something different. He put aside a significant amount of money in a stable, reliable pension fund that promised good interest. And the investments are proven. We guarantee a stable income for years to come, the manager said. These words were reassuring. He trusted the system because he had heard about its reliability all his life. Michael dreamed of traveling. He finally had the opportunity to see Paris, walk around London, maybe even return to New York, where he grew up. He set aside money specifically for these trips, distributed the costs, so that he would not feel uncomfortable. His life was going according to plan. But the first warning signs started to appear when his friends warned him about the market instability. Michael, have you seen what's happening now? Banks are failing, the economy is falling. What if your fund is also at risk? His old friend Peter once asked. Michael just shrugged it off. My fund is insured. It's one of the most stable companies in the country. He believed it. Because he wanted to believe it. That evening, Michael sat in his favorite chair, looking through his email. Letters from the bank, newsletters from travel agencies, advertisements for new investments. He took a sip of whiskey and smiled. Life was good. He didn't know that the next day everything would change. What do you do when your perfect life starts to crumble and you don't even notice? Michael was used to a routine morning coffee, a walk, reading the news, checking his account balances. He wasn't a fan of risk, so he always checked his finances, even though he wasn't too worried. His retirement fund was stable, his income was predictable, and his future was secure. Until the first warning sign appeared. It was an ordinary day, nothing out of the ordinary. Michael was sitting on the terrace enjoying the sunshine when the phone rang. The number was unfamiliar, but he decided to answer it anyway. Mr. Carter. It's Alex from your pension fund. The voice was calm and professional. I just wanted to let you know that there may be some technical delays in payments in the near future. It's temporary, nothing serious. What do you mean, delays? Michael frowned. Everything is under control, just some investment assets are being reorganized. Michael hung up the phone, but the feeling of unease did not disappear. He logged into his online account to check his balance. On the screen, everything looked the same as always, the numbers hadn't changed, the money was there. But that call. He didn't like surprises, especially when it came to his savings. A few hours later, he turned on the TV. One of the programs was talking about the volatility of the financial market, about companies that were experiencing difficulties. Recently, there has been an increase in the number of fraud cases among pension funds. Investors are losing billions of dollars, the anchor said. But my fund is stable, Michael muttered, as if to convince himself. The next still, he felt a little uneasy. The next day, he decided to check the information. He called the fund and heard the same answered. Everything is fine. Payments have not been canceled, just a slight delay. It's just temporary. But something in the operator's voice made him wary. Okay, what if I want to withdraw all my funds? Michael asked. That's not recommended at this time. You will lose some of your profits due to the reorganization of assets. It's better to wait. Wait for what? He wasn't paranoid, but he knew one thing. If problems were starting to arise, it was better not to sit idly by. Michael called his old friend Peter, a former banker. Peter, what do you know about the Harmony Pension Fund? Is everything okay there? There was silence on the other end of the line. I heard they're having some problems. I don't know the details, but if they're starting to delay payments, it's a bad sign. Michael hung up the phone, feeling cold sweat break out on his forehead. He did not know the whole truth yet. But he already knew that this was just the beginning. If you wake up in the morning and find out that all your money is gone, is it a joke or a nightmare? Michael woke up as usual at 7 in the morning, made himself a cup of coffee, and sat down at his laptop. He opened the website of his pension fund to check his balance. But instead of the usual numbers, a message appeared on the screen. The system is temporarily unavailable. Maintenance work. Michael sighed. The website had been working fine yesterday. He decided to wait. But after half an hour, the calls started. First, Peter called. Michael, have you seen the news? Check your account right away. Michael tried to log in again, but now he got another message. Account not found. His hands were shaking. He grabbed his phone and called customer service. The operator answered after 10 minutes on hold. I'm sorry, Mr. Carter, but we can't provide you with your account information at this time. What do you mean you can't? Where's my money? Unfortunately, the Foundation's financial activities have been temporarily suspended. Suspended? Are you kidding? There were short beeps on the phone. Michael turned on the TV. The anchor spoke in a serious voice. This morning it became known that the Harmony Pension Fund declared bankruptcy. Thousands of pensioners have lost their savings. The management of the fund has disappeared. The FBI has launched an investigation. Michael felt his heart skip a beat. He rushed to the bank, but they just shrugged their shoulders. You invested in a private fund, not a public pension plan. We can't help you. That was it. The money was gone. The pension was gone. And he was left with no TAing. How do you live when everything you've saved your whole life is gone? Michael sat in the kitchen, staring at a cold cup of coffee. Yesterday's disaster still seemed unreal. Maybe he was dreaming. Maybe he was about to wake up, open his laptop, and see his money still there. But no. The money was gone. The phone was silent. No call from the pension fund. No explanation. Only the news. Every channel repeated the same thing: the Harmony Fund was a pyramid scheme. People were robbed, and the management disappeared. In the refrigerator, there were a few eggs, butter, and the remains of yesterday's soup. Michael opened his wallet. $20. He never thought about money. It was always saved for a rainy day, but that day had come, and where the money should have been, there was nothing. The phone rang. Mr. Carter? Yes. This is the bank. You are behind on your mortgage payment. If you don't make a payment soon, we'll have to start the foreclosure process. Didn't you hear that my pension fund just evaporated? I'm sorry, but that doesn't change the terms of the contract. I don't have any money. Then you should think about alternative ways to pay off your debt. Short beeps. Michael looked up at the wall. There was an old family portrait hanging there. He, his late wife Sarah, their daughter Lisa. Where was she now? He hadn't seen her in years. She is living her own life. She probably doesn't even know that her father is one step away from homelessness. He picked up the phone and opened her number. His finger hovered over the call button. Should he ask for help? Or is pride more important? He slowly lowered his hand. He would hold on, but for how long? If life forces you to your knees, you either stay there or you get up. Michael woke up cold. The heater had been turned off yesterday. No one had paid the bills. His last cup of coffee was the last one. There was almost no food left. What was next? He looked in the mirror. 70 years old, deep wrinkles, a tired look. Gone, he had once been a successful accountant. He lived in a house he bought himself. Now the bank was threatening to evict him for his debts. He opened the phone again and looked at his daughter's number. He pressed call. Several rings. Had a hello. Lisa's voice was wary. "Lisa, me? It's Dad." "Dad?" Pause. "What's wrong?" In a bit of a pickle." What's wrong?" He told her everything. How his money was gone. How the bank wanted to take his house. How he was left with almost no means of support. A few seconds of silence. "Dad, it's terrible. But I don't know what I can do to help. I have kids, a loan, a job." Michael clutched the phone. "I'm not asking for money, Lisa. I just wanted to talk. I'll call you back, okay?" He heard a commotion on the phone, then short beeps. Michael put the phone down and stared at the wall. And his daughter wants nothing to do with him. Now he was on his own. In the evening, the doorbell rang. A neighbor, Mrs. Parker, was standing on the doorstep. "Michael, I heard about your situation. My nephew is looking for someone to work for him. Do you need a job?" He wanted to say no. What kind of work? "He has a cleaning business. It doesn't pay much, but it's better than nothing." Michael's jaw clenched. 70 years old, and he's going to be scrubbing floors. "Thank you, Mrs. Parker. Tell him I'll take it." He closed the door and sat down heavily in a chair. His life had changed, and it was only the beginning. When it seems that life has nothing more to give you, it can give you an unexpected gift. Michael stood in front of a large office center, clutching a pair of cheap rubber gloves. Yesterday he dreamed of a quiet old age, but today he is just a janitor. "Hey, are you the new guy?" A young man in a uniform with a cleaning company logo called out. "Yes, Michael. I'm Jason, as long the job's not hard, as long as you're on time." "Here's your mop." Michael nodded. He started mopping the floors in the spacious corridors. Expensive suits, high heels, everyone passed him by as if he didn't exist. He used to sit in offices like this, dealing with financial matters, giving out investment advice. And now, in the late afternoon, the door to one of the offices opened, and Michael heard a familiar voice. He froze. "Uh-oh, I'm going to pay this money, you know the rules." The client invested at his own risk. He remembered the voice well. Frank Damon, one of the managers of the pension fund that had gone bankrupt. Michael felt anger boiling up inside him. He overheard Frank joking with his colleagues about the fools who had lost their pensions. Michael clenched his fists. After his shift, he sat in a small cafe and looked at his phone. And then what could he do? And then a woman walked in the door, elegant with a sharp look and a short haircut. Catherine Lewis, a journal once uncovered financial fraud. He knew her, and she could help. Michael walked over. "Ms." She looked at him. "Yes. I know how to get you a big story." He told her everything. Catherine listened intently. "Are you sure? I work in that office. I heard them talking about the scam." The journalist paused. If it's true, it could change everything." Michael felt hope sparkle inside him. He finally had a chance, and this time he was not going to lose. Just when you think you've finally found an ally, life can prove you wrong. Michael met Catherine Lewis again in a quiet cave on the outskirts of the city. She brought a notebook and a voice recorder. "I need more proof than just your words. If Frank Damon really is a con artist, I want to document it." Michael nodded. "I'll find the proof. There's a file cabinet over there. If I can get a photo or find anything suspicious." Catherine stopped him with a look. "That's illegal. If you get caught, you could go to jail." Michael smiled bitterly. "What do I have to lose?" The next night Michael stayed after his shift. He knew that Frank had an office where he often went before going home. When the corridors were empty, Michael crept up to the door. The lock was electronic, but as one of the managers was leaving, Michael managed to peek inside. His heart was pounding. He took a few photos of the papers on the desk. There were numbers in the reports that didn't add up, as well as references to large sums of money that mysteriously. The next aired. He met with Catherine. He handed her a flash drive with photos. She looked at them. This is serious. If this is true, the Foundation has illegally withdrawn millions. Michael waited for her reaction. Are you going to publish this? Catherine thought about it. Give me a few days. 2 days later, Michael went to the cafe and opened the news. There was nothing. He dialed her number. No answer. The next morning he saw Catherine leaving the same office center where Frank worked. Michael felt his insides go cold. She had betrayed him. He had bet on her, and she seemed to have sold his story to those they wanted to expose. Hope turned to fear. He could be found, and it could be more than just a financial loss. This time he was risking his own life. What do you do when you've been betrayed? Do you fight, or do you forgive and move on? Michael was sitting in his cramped apartment watching the news. Anna, the anchor, was smilingly talking about the economic breakthrough of the pension fund. Catherine Lewis sat next to Frank Damon and nodded. She praised him for his transparency and concern for pensioners. It was a stab in the back. Michael felt anger boiling inside him. He couldn't just sit there. Michael opened his laptop and went to a dark segment of the internet. Up on a light was a place where people sold dirt, leaked documents, and exposed fraud. He uploaded all the files he had and added one short comment. If these documents don't appear in the news, tomorrow they will be all over social media. Now, his heart was pounding. Now everything depended on the reaction of the journalists. The phone rang late at night. The number was unknown. You've made a big mistake. The voice was male cold. Stop before it's too late. Michael didn't answer and hung up. But at the same moment he was seized with fear. He realized that he was now a target. He could take the documents and disappear. Forget about revenge. Or continue the fight, knowing that it could end very badly. What to choose? His hand hovered over the keyboard. One click and the whole truth will come out. But is he ready to pay the price? And a one click and the whole truth about the pension fund fraud will come out. But is it worth it? Michael sat in front of his laptop, his fingers hovering over the keyboard. Should he leak the documents or retreat? What if they found him first? The phone rang again, the same cold voice. You don't realize who you're talking to. This is your last chance to forget everything. Michael smiled. He hadn't been afraid for a long time. He pressed publish. The files went viral. Corrupt deals, lists of shell companies, evidence of pension theft. A minute later, his phone started ringing incessantly. Journalists, lawyers, people who had also lost their money. It was the beginning. At night, an envelope appeared under his door. It was unsigned. Inside was a photo of his daughter. A short message on the back, stop. This is your last opportunity. His breath caught in his throat. He realized that this was now a war. Michael could run away, or he could go all the way. But now it wasn't just his battle anymore. He opened his phone and dialed a number. Tell them I won't be silent. The final